Hey, it's a win. Welcome to the Bark Tank, everybody, presented by Sugardale. Back in the home office, I'm Andrew Siciliano. Thank you for joining the Bark Tank friends. Coming up shortly, Tyson Campbell, a man who tightrope the sideline, a man who is fast, who chases down the other team's ball carriers with amazing speed and also scores touchdowns. The newest Browns corner will join us here in the tank after a win. Let me check the score. Just make sure I get this right. 31-6. The Browns beat the Dolphins. Yes, I know they're 2-5. There is no parade scheduled. But man, that felt good. Nathan and I were talking at halftime. Of course, Nathan's the great Z, as you may know him from Cleveland Browns Daily. Why is Bo wearing a peach-colored shirt as we record this? I don't get it. He says it's orange. Doesn't look orange. I digress. Nathan and I said at halftime, man, it's so much easier when you're actually scoring points. Like, football is fun again. And then afterwards, when you score 31 points, when there are 4 turnovers, when you have a pick six, when Quinshon Judkins does the Travis Prentice, Nick Chubb thing and scores 3 touchdowns, a veritable hat trick, if you would, as a rookie. It is fun again. I was having dinner afterwards, having a beer. Nathan's back at the house. He's with the family, cracking a nice bottle, likely a Napa Cab. And we're texting exactly that. Like, hey, remember how this felt? This is fun again. Granted, we had this week 3. You have it again week 7. One-offs, I'm not interested in. It's about stacking victories. And that is what Myles Garrett said afterwards. And then during this program, this podcast, video, audio, however it is you're listening and watching this show, we thank you. Like, subscribe, all those fun things. It's about how do you stack those victories, because that is the key. First and foremost, I want to do one thing. And we record this on Monday evening. It drops on Tuesday. So this is the Victory Monday / release it on Tuesday when Gabe can get it out in time. Not in time, like Gabe is always working behind the scenes here, young Gabriel working to get this pod, the Bark Tank, to you. First and foremost, I want to thank the fans, truly, because you guys sat in the rain. It wasn't that bad in the second half. First half, not good at all. And you sat in the stands with parkas, with trash bags, not over your head, but, like the big clear bag thing, a lot of that. And you sat and got soaked. And you sat and you watched your football team win because you love your football team. And that needs to be repeated over and over and over again, how much we appreciate you. And I'm one of you as well. And I've said this before. I will keep on saying this again. I am one of you. I carry the emotional baggage into the booth every single week. When we lose on the way home, I carry that emotional baggage with me. And when we win, much like you, that beer tastes a lot better, or that bourbon tastes a lot better, that meal tastes a lot better. And there's a motivation when you get out of bed on Monday morning to attack the day yet again. And that is what the Browns have today. And if you saw Kevin Stefanski on the podium on Monday when he is back at the building meeting with the media, I think you could see a little bit of a different coach. Well, how do I rephrase that? Just a different mood. Like, it's a good mood. It's about, though, as Kevin always says, moving that mood forward into the next week and correcting and starting anew. Is a 24-hour rule, and then you get right back to work. Because coming up this week, folks, the New England Patriots are no pushover. And you could complain about their easy schedule, and you could say that when it comes to DVOA, it is the easiest schedule in the NFL by far. It doesn't matter. They're next up on the schedule, and what Drake May is doing and what Mike Vrabel has done with that team through 7 games is very impressive. Drake May was 21 of 23 on Sunday. 21 of 23. We're talking Phil Simms in the Super Bowl kind of efficiency. 21 of 23. He is deadly accurate downfield. Ramondre Stevenson, for at least this week, is holding on to the football. You have Travion Henderson, who is very effective in the backfield. although his usage has gone down of late. That's something that we're going to dig into a little bit throughout this week. But Quinshon and Travion are back together. This is not an easy out. It is on the road. Matter of fact, it's the opposite of an easy out. It is a very tough out. And I think Browns fans, and certainly this team, those that were here a year ago, can look back on last year's final game before the bye as a reminder that you shouldn't get too high. So let's go back. Last year, the Browns were 2-6 heading into their bye. Or, I'm sorry, 2-6 heading into the final game before the bye. Now, they got their second win by beating the Ravens at home at Huntington Bank Field. You remember Jameis to Cedric Tillman, the big touchdown after Kyle Hamilton drop. It could have been a game-ending interception. We had just lost Jim Donovan a few days earlier. It was a very emotional week. You remember all of that, right? And then the Browns had the Chargers coming to town next week. This Chargers team was good, but not that good. I mean, they were doing it with smoke and mirrors defensively, right? It's at home. The place shakes. The defense is great. It's at home. You could beat the Chargers and get to the bye with 3 wins, and then after the bye, you're going to lowly New Orleans, and the Saints are about to blow their coach out, like they're getting fired. You're looking at 4-6. 4-6 is still 4-6, but you got some momentum, or at least you imagined this momentum. This feels very much the same. So you beat the Dolphins. Dolphins are not good. Let's just call it like it is. And the Browns dominated them. They imposed their will, and that's one of the best things about that win. And then this week you get the Patriots. Patriots are good, but if you beat the Patriots, you get the 3-5, you get the bye, you get the right now winless Jets on the road the week after. You see where I'm going? Like there are similarities here. You can't fall into the trap. You cannot fall into the trap just because you dominated a bad Dolphins team and think that all your problems are fixed. Quinshon Judkins, fantastic yesterday. Fantastic with 25 carries and 84 yards. You dedicated yourself to the run. And that 46-yard touchdown shook the house. It was a great job on the right side by not only Wyatt Teller and KT Levison, but by Joel Bitonio coming and kicking out as well. And then, bam, the hole is there and Judkins is gone. But if you take away the 2 carries for 63 yards, which you can't, but let's play along, Quinshon had 23 carries for 21 yards. That's not all on him. It's a team sport here. The Browns had an extra offensive lineman on the field for 40% of their snaps, which is the highest percentage for any team in any game this year. A lot of them, you had 2 extra O-linemen in, as both Luke Whippler and Tevin Jenkins reported eligible on a number of plays. And still, you weren't getting the push that you thought you were going to get against a team that came in as the worst run defense in the NFL. You dedicated yourself to the run. You got the explosive. You got the 3 touchdowns. You went single wing. It worked, and you wore the other team down. But I know and they know, and they will tell you that they need more push in the run game, and you're going to need it this week certainly as well. I mentioned Tyson Campbell. He's going to join us shortly. Grant Delpit might have played his best game of the year. Grant had a sack. He had a forced fumble when he punched the ball out from D. Eskridge on the kickoff return, and then the Browns turned that into a touchdown. He was all over the field. A sack, a forced fumble. He had a couple of tackles, and it was his pressure that led to the Rayshawn Jenkins interception. So Grant, unbelievable. He is having an all-pro season. Like Alex Wright said today, an all-pro season. Not a Pro Bowl season, an all-pro season. Rayshawn Jenkins was a captain playing Miami. Granted, he's from there. He went to the University of Miami. He's a Florida guy, but he had been leading the team in special teams tackles, was playing his tail off on special teams. So the Browns said, you know what, Rayshawn Jenkins, you're going to give the pregame speech on Saturday evening. Heard it was fantastic, and you can be a captain. And then all he does is he recovers the fumble that Delpit starts and forced on the kickoff, and then he also gets the pick when Delpit had the pressure as well. All those guys played great. And Myles Garrett, the sack-less streak is over. He gets a sack. He gets a TFL, actually 2 TFLs. And Myles Garrett is back to looking like Myles Garrett. Also, and I mentioned this during the broadcast, and Kevin Stefanski did when he was handing out game balls after the game as well. And this is not to jinx anything, because I do not believe in the broadcaster jinx. I'm going to knock on wood on my table here that you cannot see. Andre Schmidt has only missed one kick since week one. You all know what happened in week one. The one kick he missed was a 55 or 6-yard try in Detroit. All right. You can excuse those. He's been great. Bad conditions, he nailed his kicks. Bad conditions, Corey Bojorquez 3 times inside the 10-yard line. Game balls for all of them. And Jim Schwartz mixed up the defense, played zone, played more zone than they had played all year, played more zone than they had played in a long, long time. Confused Tua, brought safeties, corners off the edge from depth. Grant Delpit came from depth when he forced the Jenkins interception. All over the place. He was in his bag. His bag evidently had his shirt because when he got the game ball from Stefanski after the game, he was shirtless in a moment that went somewhat viral. Also, I know I mentioned him last week. Let's do it again. Tip of the cap to the great Joel Bitonio for a number of reasons. Number one, he passed Joe Thomas for the most starts for a Brown since the second comings. In other words, since 1999. He's now up to 168. No one's ever had more. He is a rock, but also for the way he shoots straight during the week and then after the game as well. And he said after the game that Stefanski on Monday last week laid into the team a little bit, especially the offense, for their inability to do anything the week before against the Steelers. And he said it, they needed it. When asked about that today by Mary Kay Cabot of the Plain Dealer of Cleveland.com, call it whatever you want to call it, Kevin said, well, Joel's not supposed to tell you about that. He said that tongue-in-cheek, and then said every now and then the Philly comes out. You know, the guy that listens to WIP as a child and probably hears people screaming at the radio. Obviously, that's what WIP is. That's what Philly is. That was a good thing this week. It worked. It helped. And now the Browns turn to Foxborough, where Nathan, Gerard, and yours truly are right back at it at 1 o'clock next Sunday. Decent weather, at least for now, and then the bye. So, yeah, there's a win. Aiden Huntington, concussion protocol as of Monday evening. David Njoku's status up in the air with a knee injury, but he, too, was shirtless on the sideline afterwards and in the locker room. Why let a knee injury somehow inhibit your wardrobe? David Njoku. All right. Let's talk to the guy that had a ridiculous game. Well, for a first game at Huntington Bank Field, wearing a Browns uniform, I think Tyson Campbell had a pretty cool first day at school. How about a pick six to open up the third quarter? Tyson, how was that welcome to Cleveland moment for you Sunday?
It was amazing, man. All glory to God, man. Just allow me to make that play and keep my feet in bounds to step in the end zone. So it was a great feeling. Felt the energy of the crowd and my teammates, and it was very fulfilling.
You mentioned staying in bounds. So where Nathan and I are calling the game, we're behind the Dolphins sideline. And, we're up there in the press box. And you catch it. You kind of tightrope the sideline like that. And everyone on the Miami sideline is pointing, right? They're yelling that you're out. And I'm looking at the official, and you're running in. I'm like, I think it's a touchdown, because you can't see the official there. But you had no doubt that you were in. Did you see the replay? It's like that.
Yeah, I seen it. It was like a couple inches of green showing. So, yeah, glad, all them ladder drills I did growing up and, ankle mobility stuff to make sure my foot stayed in. So.
What was that celebration when you got in?
Oh, that was a little dance from South Florida. I just brought a little South Florida swag to Cleveland.
Okay, well, like for someone that clearly, as you could tell, does not have South Florida swag, does that dance have a name? Are we going to see it again? What is it?
It don't really have a name, but growing up, we used to do that a lot, like in Little League. But yeah, I probably want to do that again though.
Okay, well, if you get in the end zone again, man, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. Speaking of South Florida, how cool was it that your big moment, your pick six, you teamed up with your former Jacksonville teammate, Rayshon Jenkins? He was the first guy there, ball popped up, and bam, there you go.
Man, it's amazing, man. Just to be reunited with Ray, definitely a blessing, man. A guy that, brings a lot of energy on and off the field, and a guy that, takes a lot of pride in his craft and winning football games. And when you go to with a guy like that each and every Sunday, that makes your job a whole lot easier.
I would have to think as well, it makes your transition a whole
Yeah.
lot easier. Like we've told the story, you got there, you dropped your bags Thursday, took your physical, ran out there, all that, and then you had to play in Pittsburgh. But to have a guy like him there to maybe text you, pick up the phone, show you around, I'd have to imagine that was huge.
Yeah. No, definitely just he probably got tired of me asking him a lot of questions about, how they do things here and, things around the city, what areas are good to stay in, what places got good food and stuff like that.
And I heard he gave a pretty good speech Saturday night too at the hotel. Tell me about that.
It was just a speech just talking about like how good can we be if everyone played at their best at the same time. And simplifying it even more, just breaking it down by each rep. Like beat the guy in front of you more than he beats you. And at the end of the day, after each play, we try to get a win after each play. And when we look back at the end, let's have more wins. And I feel like yesterday was, perfect example of that. On all phases, everybody, taking one play at a time, focusing on their role and trying to win that one play, each play.
And he did, and you did, and everyone collectively did win a lot of those plays. However, he should have scored, shouldn't he? Like you get tackled on the 3-yard line.
Told him. Yeah. I told him about that one, but he said he felt like he couldn't outrun A-Chain, so he tried to, cut back. But I definitely feel like he was capable of just sprinting.
Well, as somebody that has outrun Devon A-Chan, I mean, you were coming from a position of power there. Let's talk about that. Actually, I want to go back. Let's talk about chasing down Darnell Washington last week. So, I mean, your very first play as a Brown, whatever, he got behind you guys. But then he's going down the sideline. He's 300 pounds. He's a Georgia teammate, so you know the guy. You knew you were catching him, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Jogging, probably catching him, yeah.
Now, A-Chan's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You have a track background. Obviously, he has a track background. There are some that are going to argue that he's the fastest guy in the NFL. Like, that is I don't know if you realize this. Your pick six was great, obviously. But you running him down is one of the plays of the week, period, in any game.
Yeah, I just got that mindset, like, the play's not over till it's over. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't get in the end zone, we still have an opportunity to get the ball back or prevent him from getting in the end zone. And that was my mindset. And I was really trying to do more than just tackle him. I was really trying to punch the ball out. But I got him down, and ultimately on that drive, I think they got a field goal.
Right.
So
that's a 4-point play right there. You held him to a field goal. Real quick, we'll get you out of here quickly. Couple more things. Delpit, obviously, got to the quarterback. Rayshon was able to blitz. Denzel was able to blitz. Like even Donovan McMillan was able to blitz a little bit when they emptied the bench there in the fourth quarter. You have a pick six. You have two big plays chasing guys down through 2 games. Tyson, have you earned the right to blitz yet? Are you going to Jim Schwartz saying, cut me loose?
I'm pretty sure they got some up their sleeve, but, trying to get me a blitz. But I'm just doing my role, playing my role the best way I can to help us continue to stack wins. But I do feel a blitz coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we'd love to see one. 2 more things. Jim Schwartz, I mentioned him. He got a game ball. That moment has kind of gone viral a little bit because Schwartz shows up without a shirt. You ever had a shirtless DC get a game ball on a team you've been on?
No, that was my first time experiencing that one.
What'd you think of it?
It was funny. You were talking about he's old. He's ready to go to bed. So he was ready to get up out of there. But that was funny.
I think it was great. I mentioned Darnell Washington's your teammate back at Georgia. Mm-hmm. So when the trade went down, Tyson, I'm looking at my computer because I want to get the whole list up. When the trade went down, I went to the 2020 Georgia roster. You came out in the 2021 draft, right? 33rd overall pick. And I went down the list of guys on that roster. And I don't know that the average fan understands how much talent you guys had. So I'm just going to go down this list. And I realize some of these guys might have been hurt and some of these guys didn't play. Some of these guys might have been red shirts, whatever. but I'm going to go down this list. So we mentioned Darnell Washington. We got Darnell, George Pickens, James Cook, Zamir White, Ladd McConkey, Nolan Smith, Quay Walker, Jordan Davis, but wait, there's more. Trayvon Walker, Jalen Carter, Devontae Wyatt, Keely Ringo, Kenny McIntosh, Jermaine Burton, you're smiling, Trey McKitty, Tyreek Stevenson, Jermaine Johnson, Stetson Bennett, JT Daniels, Tate Ratledge, Jamari Sawyer, Warren McClendon, Ben Cleveland, Azeez Ojulari, Carson Beck, Lewis Seen, Eric Stokes, N'Kobe Dean, and Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, man, the squad was stacked, man. And as you can see, after I left, them guys, went on to win the national championship. So, with the talent always been there, building a powerhouse at Georgia, definitely was fun playing on them teams in such a competitive atmosphere, and definitely it was an iron sharpen iron type atmosphere. So definitely grateful for that team and those guys. I feel like they all played a part. We all played a part in helping each other get where we are today.
I mean, that's a ridiculous list, man. Do you guys all have like one big text chain or something?
Maybe it's like position groups.
Okay.
Did.
Well, you got some pretty good DBs on that list, and you're certainly one of them as well.
Yeah.
You had a great welcome to Cleveland moment. Tyson Campbell, hopefully many more to come. Congratulations on that win. Enjoy your victory Monday, and thanks for joining us today in the Bark Tank.
Thank you, Drew.
Tyson Campbell, you're going to love him. You see the way, and we didn't even get into this, how physical he plays the run, how hard he hits, and he can chase guys down. Now, there was that one deep ball in the end zone to Waddle where he got his head around late just in time to kind of knock that away. And that's the big thing they're working on him with. And it was an issue in Jacksonville, is get your head around, right? He got beaten for the touchdown last week, didn't get his head around. DK Metcalf got him for the score on the sluggo. You got to get up and look for that football. Little improvement there, but he played an amazing game and he got into the end zone. So far, so good on that trade. By the way, Greg Newsome had to go back, and we love Greg, had to go back to London last week with the Jaguars. Like, that is absurd. At the same hotel. Stayed at the same hotel. Different room, however. Time now for What's Sizzlin', presented by Sugardale. Let's go around the AFC North. The Browns were the only team in the AFC North that played on Sunday because the Ravens had a bye, and we know what happened with the Bengals beating the Steelers on Thursday Night Football in Cincinnati. So the Browns were the only AFC North team that played and the only AFC North team that won, and now everybody is back in action with the Steelers leading the division this coming week, Week 8. The Steelers have a game that you might hear a little bit about this week on your talk radio or your phone or whatever it is, the TV and the screaming heads. Aaron Rodgers welcomes Jordan Love and the 4-1 Green Bay Packers to town. The 4-1-1 Green Bay Packers to town. I don't know if you know this, but they used to be teammates. Rodgers used to play in Green Bay, that whole thing. Yeah, that's going to be the story this week. That is on Sunday Night Football. It will be the weekly game of the year. And it will be, I'll predict it right now, the most watched game of the year to date. Thanksgiving is still going to blow everybody away with the Cowboys and the Chiefs, but to date, it's going to be the Packers and the Steelers. Take that to the bank. By the way, there's no money back guarantee on that. I'm just saying that's my gut feeling. The Bengals are back at it at 3-4. They get the winless Jets. As we sit here Monday evening, there is a chance that the Jets will bench former Buckeye Justin Fields. They did that at the half on Sunday. Tyrod finished the game because Aaron Glenn says that he's going to talk to other coaches, not like in his building necessarily, but other coaches around the league or maybe mentors, former coaches, to see how they have handled similar situations. Either way, the Bengals get the Jets this week and the Ravens get the Bears. Now, on paper, you're like, wait a minute, the Bears are 4-2. They've what? Like scored 21 straight or 21 points in all four of their wins here, 4 consecutive wins. And the Ravens are 1-5. How are the Ravens favored by almost a touchdown in this game? It makes no sense. Since then, Monday afternoon, Lamar Jackson did not practice. So he's still out, at least in practice, with the hamstring injury. His status is very much up in the air for week number 8. That is What's Sizzlin', presented by Sugardale. The Browns were sizzling yesterday. They got to win. I say yesterday, we record this on Monday, and it feels good to get that win. Plenty of flowers to go around, but the theme has to be that one win is just one win. And you got to stack wins. And while you should be happy the other team gets paid, the other team was reeling at 1-5. You were 1-5. But hey, dominate, move on, and do it again. And that's the Browns' attitude. It has to be the Browns' attitude this week. Dominate, move on, and go back at it next week and try to win again against what will, I guarantee you, be a more difficult opponent. I guarantee you will be a much more difficult fight. We will talk to you a week from today for a heading into the bye week edition of the Bark Tank. Browns Patriots, 1 o'clock. Nathan, Gerard, yours truly, next Sunday, week number 8. Thank you for listening to, liking, subscribing, and sharing this episode of the Bark Tank. If you're watching on video form, hi. Thanks for watching. My name is Andrew Siciliano. Browns win, everybody. Victory Monday feels good. Talk to you soon.